It seems like we're getting more secular, and it does not seem to be helping. I'm a somewhat religious person. I attend Catholic Church when they allow me to do so once a week, but I'm not a big part of it, the part of the movement the way I am on the right. So that's kind of where I'm at, but I want to hear where you're at.
Well, I'll answer it in a couple different directions, and then maybe we can package it all together. First off, I would say in terms of the country getting more secular, I think what we're seeing in many ways is the end of pure secularism. When you see you can't tell the difference, you're not allowed to say the difference between a man and a woman. And all of the anti-science nonsense coming out of the left while they tell you that the right is anti-science. I mean, we're at the end of secularism, where nothing is moral, nothing is to be judged. Nothing is real. You are whatever gender you identify as. You're whatever color you identify as. I mean, these are crazy precepts, especially by the same people who would tell you that those immutable characteristics are the only things that matter. So at the end of secularism is the chaos that we have right now. And unfortunately, and I do describe this in the book, the liberals have no defense mechanism on this. The liberals, because they don't believe, because in essence, they've decided to believe that logic and reason, meaning their own brains, are the thing that is the highest order of society. Well, then when someone else comes in with feelings of their own, you will always cave to them. And that's why the left seems to always cave to its worst parts. And if you think that Joe Biden is the guy that's going to stand up against it, you got another thing coming. So I would say at a micro level, you can be an atheist or an agnostic or a non-believer or completely secular and non-religious and be a truly moral, decent, good human being without question. And I have many friends who are atheists, right? And I did consider myself an atheist for several years, and I used to talk about it on the show. At a macro level, it simply does not work. A society needs to organize around something bigger than itself. And that's why what we've done here in the United States is so brilliant. What did the founders do? The founders said we have God-given rights, and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights protects those rights. It didn't give you them. It actually creates the force field to keep those things true and pure. Because if you say the government gave me rights, well, then you're saying man gave me rights, because who created government? Man. And if you're saying man gave me rights, well, then in essence, of course, you're saying that man can take away my rights. And now the latter part of that is true. The government can take away my rights, but it didn't give me my rights. And I believe that it is your birthright as a human being to live as a free creature, as a free human. So I would say it's a micro-macro argument. Micro level, you can be totally secular, you can be a non-believer and be totally a positive force in your family and community and all of those things. A society cannot do it without religion. And just to go a little bit further, I would say this was very much an idea that got embedded in me after being on tour with Jordan Peterson for a year and a half, because this is one of his real, I would say, his like bedrock principles. And after hearing him explain it, night after night in many different ways, it became almost a uncomfortable truth for me. Let's put it that way. So I do think we will see a resurgence of religion in America, and I hope within that if the liberals again are to do anything, if the liberals are to play a part in a future America, well then their part will be, okay, if we've got a resurgence of, say, right-wing religious fervor or something like that, I think the part for the liberals will be to make sure it never goes too far off the deep end and that we don't become a religious theocracy. But that's a good, healthy tension right there. And I think that would be a good place for the liberals to start focusing.